Hello and welcome to a quick developer overview of version 1.06 of Speedy SlideShow. This is an app that I made to try and make organizing photos and making slideshows like 10 times quicker, and also making them friggin' easy so it's not difficult to do. I mean, here's the problem, or at least the way I see it. I have a camera, I have photos on my iCloud, I have photos on my wife's phone. At the end of a holiday, all those photos can potentially be downloaded and dumped into a directory, and in that directory they are a mess of file names and timestamps, and you literally got to go through them one by one. There could be duplicate photos. It could literally take hours just to sort it before you're even ready to start building a slideshow. With Speedy SlideShow, I'm going to try and take that hours of organization and reduce it into seconds to let you get started and make your slideshows in just inside a few minutes. So stick with me as I run through the features of the app. We're just releasing version 1.06 here in the next few weeks. And you can check out the website and check out the Microsoft Store. But honestly, I think this pitch here, showing you like the time it saves, it's worth 2 seconds of your time if this is a problem for you. So let's dive in. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the new features that we just have in Speedy SlideShow 25. I just came back from a few days away with the family and I downloaded all of my wife's Apple photos into a folder. Obviously, like, they're dated, but they're a mess. I downloaded all of my photos into a folder. Again, the file names are all over the place. And I had videos that I took on my camera. Again, file names all over the place. So Speedy SlideShow 25. I made this because every single holiday it frustrates me to come back, and I used to spend, I don't know, hours, probably a couple hours renaming all those files, putting them in the right dates. I have to, you know, it's 3 different cameras with 3 different timestamps, so I have to sync them all together. So now we can just open up Speedy SlideShow. On the left hand side we can see that folder of videos. We can see all my wife's photos. It takes a second to generate the thumbnails. Dun dun dun, 341 thumbnails takes a second to generate, and then you can see all my photos. So at this point there's 500 files, all named random gibberish by the different cameras, and all, I was going to say, if I click on one, you can click the info. You can see here this file is named image 9776. How useful is that? It's not useful. So the first thing you do when you open up Speedy SlideShow, and this is the new version, 0.16, this is what I'm working on. There might be a couple more new patch notes in the new version, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to hit rename and organize. It's going to ask us, are we going to want to organize a single folder? I'm just going to organize everything. And then we just hit continue. It's going to scan all 573 files. That's going to take about 20 seconds. So just fill some dead air here for a second. And once it's scanned all the files, it's then going to tell you that, like, hey, these video files, these were the names of them, and these are the timestamps. And then it's going to do the same in all the Charlie files, and then it's going to do the same in all the John files. And ideally, with a single click, we have renamed 573 files. Like I said, this used to take me hours. It will now refresh them all. If we find that photo we were looking at before of my son, that photo is now named, the date, the location the photo was taken, and the time. So if we open up the folder and have a look inside, you can see that every file, list view would probably work, now has the date and time set. And if we can, if the photo has the data inside it, like the photo was taken on an iPhone and the iPhone records the location, then it will name it by the location as well. So you can see these ones were taken in various Blackpool, these were taken in Staffordshire. My camera doesn't have any of that data, so because it doesn't have any of the data, it is likely to just have dates and times. But now all the dates and times are correct. So that lets us, like, start working on whatever we want to do now. And you'll notice here within the folders, you can see that these are the photos taken on that date of the 13th, and you'll see that they are time you know, so it's like this was morning, this was evening, and it's done that for everything. So all the files are instantly renamed, all the files now have the dates and times. So if I wanted to make a slideshow, and this is what I like doing at the end of my holiday, I like making slideshows, it's best probably to start with a single date. So I can just go like, let's make a new custom slideshow. You can see there's none at the moment. So what will we call this? Well, the first date that we went on holiday was the July the 11th. So new custom slideshow, July the 11th. Let's do the 12th because the 11th was just a couple of photos. So if we do the 12th, I'm now able to say like, okay, so here's some photos from the 12th. Here is Charlotte's photos from, she never took any photos on the 12th, bad example. And I never took any videos on the 12th. So cool, so the only photos we've got on the 12th are the ones that I took. I guess these are the 2 photos I took in the evening. So I could literally just click them. And then I can go like, I can put them in a star, but I can add them to my slideshow. Obviously I'd add them to the slideshow for the 12th. And now at this point, I can just watch that slideshow. I can choose some options, like you know, a memory recap, fast highlights, emotional and slow. I could choose how we're going to mix between the slides. I can put a title, and I can repeat the slideshow when it reaches the end. So this is only going to be a slideshow of 2 photos, and it will just play it. Cool. Okay, so simple, right? I mean, that's why it's called Speedy SlideShow. The idea is that you make the slideshow pretty simple. The thing is, now that we've made that slideshow, if we wanted, we could export the custom slideshow. Cool. You can choose different settings, or just export it at 1080p. You could also choose to only include the starred photos within the slideshow, if that's something you want to do. We could add some background music. So I've got a couple of songs on my computer. We can add one of those. And then we can just export the video. We call it July the 12th. We just give it a second. Obviously, you could do this with like a 200 file photo or 200 file slideshow. I mean, that's my point. So there, it's done. So it goes into the exports folder, which just lives in the same folder that you pointed Speedy SlideShow at to begin with, exports. And here's our slideshow with music and everything. Sorry. Helps if I turn the music up. So my whole plan with this was that I used to spend hours and hours and hours making slideshows of the videos and photos, and it was an absolute disaster. Like, it would take hours to do the holiday. Now we can just go, let's do another custom slideshow. We can call this July 13. Okay, let's put pictures to a like. So yeah, I mean, sorry, July 13, yes. Click the little ticks. I like this one, 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 this one. Why not both? Do you want the map of where we were? No, that's fine. Right, so I've got all these. We're going to add it to slideshow July the 13th. Now I can go to my videos folder. Did I take any videos on the 13th? No, so we're not going to include any of them. Did my wife take any photos on the 13th? And in fact, she did. So let's add those 3 photos. I think that's a duplicate because I'm pretty sure I just added that. Yeah, I mean, she probably sent it to me. But yeah, let's just add these 2. So add to slideshow, July 13. So now that we are there, custom slideshow, July 13. Cool. I should be able to drag and reorder these because these are obviously taken around the same time as they were in front of them on a poster. Simple as that. Do you know what I just realized here? It would be pretty cool to add a right-click option. Maybe I'll add an option up here. I haven't finished working on version 1.06. So let's maybe add an option so we can organize the slideshow by time and date. That would be cool. So if let's say my wife had 50 photos and I pulled them all in, I could then click sort and it would organize them by time and date. I'll add that to the 1.6 features. That's what I'm going to work on. Basically, where I'm at with this program is I am going to use this, and I'm going to force myself to use it at the end of the holidays, because before I would use custom video editors, and they're custom, and they take ages, and you need to know about video editors, you need to drag stuff into the timelines, you need to manually place music, you need to know about exporting. It can be an absolute disaster. So I said to myself, when I came back, I'm going to force myself to use the app that I have created, and anything that is missing, I'm going to improve it to save myself time. So here is 13 photos in a slideshow. I can enable a card, so I should have actually done this in the last one, but this is going to be July the 13th. I'm going to put it at the top. Do you know what? Based on where Michael is in this one, I'm going to put it at the bottom, actually. The font is just going to be default. The color, I guess I'm going to put it in red. Let's make it some bold. I'm not going to put an end card, but let's have a look. So I'm going to leave the mix, right? Like, I'm happy to do, you can choose if you want to do like a specific, let's show you memory lane, for example. And in the preview view, you can just skip through, right? But there we go. So that was 13 new slides. We could add music to this, but I actually don't want to, because I want to show you the chain export feature together next. So we're going to export this slideshow. We know exactly what it is. We'll use a different track for music. We'll export it. It is July the 13th. Cool. Let's do it. So this is 13 photos. It says that it's going to take about 19 seconds. I wouldn't say my computer is the best computer in the world, but it's not bad. So I guess if you had 50 photos, it's going to take a couple of minutes to render. Groovy. Okay, so let's kill time. I mean, I could have put no music on it, but it's fine. We put music on it. So now we've got 2 slideshows, right? So before, what I would do at the holiday is I would make this as one huge ass slideshow, right? I would be going like July the 12th, put in all the photos, and then the timeline, I'd be adding all the photos from the 13th and 14th. So if I was away for like 2 weeks, I don't think I've actually ever taken the kids away for 2 weeks, but when I was away for like 7 days to Disneyland Paris last year, it took us ages to put, I think it took me like a week to get that slideshow together. So cool, we've got a new slideshow. It's 50 megabytes. So it's pretty, so yeah, like 5 megabytes of photo. So here's all the photos in a nice slideshow. Groovy. So what's next, right? Well, next is, you can see them obviously in the export folder. We're going to go into the export folder and we're going to go chain exports together. So what we can do is then we can just take, so we can make all our individual slideshows very quickly, right? Each one, I mean, that's the whole idea of the app. That's why I named it Speedy SlideShow. If it's not speedy, then leave me feedback and I'll make it speedy. I would also, I don't have very many ratings on the Microsoft Store. I've got like 2. So if you try the app and you could leave me a rating, an honest rating, I would super appreciate it. So we can choose how we're going to fade between the 2 slideshows, and we can just chain them together. Cool, so that will just make a chain video of July the 12th plus July the 11th, which we could name Final, for example, right? And then we could just export it, and it just basically stitches those 2 clips together into a new file. So hopefully, I mean, based on how long it took to do 2 days, I think this video is maybe going to be 10 minutes long. So, and that's me explaining everything I'm doing. So I think, hopefully, and I think the other thing I wanted to do was, I didn't want a timeline where people have to drag and drop photos into a timeline and overlay music and all this sort of nonsense. I just want it to be quick. So if we go into the export folder at this point, we've got the final. Let's have a look. Here we go. So there's the July the 12th photo. There was 2 of them, right? And then we'll move straight into July the 13th. Cool. Now, obviously, there's probably improvements to be made. Possibly the title cards could probably look a little bit better. Maybe I'll add some features in 1.6 so we can do a little bit more with the title cards. But I do have another couple of features in the app. We can do validate, and validate will mean that if there's any photos in those folders that were like screenshots, that were blurry, you know, like it'll detect those. Like this is a blurry photo. You can look at it like it's a photo of, I don't know what that is, someone's arm, I guess. So we can exclude that. Sorry, we're the validate. There was a couple of screenshots, so we can just exclude those. We don't really need screenshots. And there are some duplicate photos. Cool. So we can just, these look like duplicates. It'll even tag which one it thinks is the best. They're not actually duplicates. It's not perfect on noticing duplicates. It's like, I think this one, he is in a slightly better position, so we'll just exclude that one. These ones look like duplicates again. Maybe we'll just exclude this one. This is definitely duplicates. Happy to say that's a duplicate. And yeah, I mean, I think this looks like a duplicate as well. Cool. So we can exclude all the duplicate photos in seconds, right? Like how, you know, maybe you had a photo, you sent it to your partner, and then you both put them into the app, and, you know, you're trying to make a slideshow and you have to manually work out what's duplicates. Who wants to be doing that? Nobody. Obviously, there's a log file if there's any problems. The app can check for updates. At the moment, you get the app on the Microsoft Store. I'll keep updating it there. I might launch it on other platforms, but for now, it's Microsoft Store. There's a help section. There is like a manage export presets. So if you want to quickly change to like export in 4K, export in 1080, export in like lower file size, there's some presets, but you can manually go through and make your own exports. You can set that all up. You can undo and open. You basically have a music folder. So if you open your music folder, you can then drop in any music that you want to put on your slideshows. So like you need to provide the music. I'm not providing any music, obviously for copyright reasons, but you can put in any music that you may have. There's a tiny little getting started thing here. Once you click it, it'll go away. It won't come back. And then I think the last thing that the last feature that we've got is the people scan. So we can scan the folder, it'll scan all the photos, and it'll try and find people. Now, I've been improving this feature for a while. There's probably a little bit of work still to do in it, and it is not perfect. My knowledge of facial scan is probably pretty average, but here you go. It's found a bunch of different people. And what you can do is you can say, like, we know who this person is. We can see all their photos. Cool, that's Michael. So we can rename them. I'll just name Mike. And then, but you can see here it's detected my daughter. And then we go back. Here's more photos of her. So it thinks these are two different people. They're not. So we'll just call this one Annie. And then I can right click on here and go select for merge. And then click this one. Oh, my bad. Right click, select for merge, right click, merge with selected. Are you sure you want to merge these two people together? Perfect. This cannot be undone? Sure. So all the photos of Annie are now tagged, and then what that means is in here, you can actually go and view just photos of an individual person. Like I said, there's a bunch of false positives in the people scan. You know, like you might get a passerby and the algorithm will detect a passerby. I know Apple and Google have a really good people scan on the iPhone. I want to improve and work on that, but I would say that's the lowest priority feature right now. It's useful, right? Like useful for finding photos, but the export, the slideshows, the sorting, the validation, that's where we're at. The app is available on the Microsoft Store. It's a 2-week free trial. If you don't like it after 2 weeks, no questions asked, just delete it, no problem. If you do like it, at the moment we're $20. We did run a sale. We might run a sale in the future, like 10% off, 20% off, something like that. But if nothing else, if you are like me and you have photos from your wife, photos from yourself, photos from another camera, and you bring them all home after a holiday, and they're all in folders that's going to take hours to sort. If you know, even if you don't want to pay or buy the app, download the free version, do the sort. I just saved you 2 or 3 hours of your life for free. You can uninstall the app afterwards. It's sorted, right? But if you're like me and you're going to be doing it every year, I figured rather than charge a subscription, I'd just charge a one-off purchase. So every single time you go on holiday, you could come home, you could sort all your photos in literally seconds. Thanks for watching. I would love some more reviews. I'll leave a link in the video description to the app. Take care. Peace.